System Specs Limited?
System Specs is the entity that owns the product, the Remita.
Owns Remita.
That's
Are you aware whether or not they are still in the system?
I'm not aware of the status of the entity presently, whether.
When a contract is signed and is not dated, is that contract valid?
An unsigned contract won't have it won't have validity.
The contract that GT entered between Remita service agreement between System Spec and Guarantee Trust Bank, when was that agreement entered? Can I answer the question?
I don't have a date on the copy that.
So, if you don't have an agreement dated, are you aware that you don't have any agreement? Are you aware that you are operating illegally?
I'm not aware that I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not illegal. I don't have legal knowledge.
No, wait.
enough to
You are speaking to your documents, isn't it true?
Yes, sir.
Can you bring out your agreement? You had Remita service agreement between System Specs and Guarantee Bank.
Yes, I have it. I have it on
Is
soft
it
copy.
dated?
There is no date on the copy I have here.
So why? So none of the copies you have is dated. So if your copy is not dated, you know there's no agreement by law.
Yes, unless if there is a dated copy I don't have, Mr. Chairman.
If you, is this the agreement you entered, and you are, remember you're under oath?
Yes, I requested for a copy of the agreement.
And you were issued?
Yes, and someone that had a soft copy sent that to me. So
the soft copy, before it is inside your system,
the soft copy,
it will be downloaded into your system from the original copy, isn't it true?
yes, this is not stored on the bank's system, our database. They have it on, people have them, the teams.
Okay, let me
have
ask
it
a
in their
question.
soft copy.
Is there any amount of money you pay to Remita every year for operating on the platform?
Yes, there is.
How much is that?
I cannot speak to that amount right now. I can confirm the details, but there are ratios. There are ratios that are.
I'm not talking about ratios. I am talking about any amount you pay annually in order to operate on that platform.
I cannot speak exactly to that right now, but there are supposed to be payments made.
Were you permitted to speak today on behalf of GT?
Yes.
And you are conversant with every document you submitted?
Yes, I am to some extent.
Okay, since you have this document that is unsigned, you are speaking to a document that is unsigned.
Yes, sir.
Can you look at...
Unsigned, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, that's what...
No, there was no date, but they were signed, Mr. Chairman.
Undated, I'm sorry.
Undated, okay.
Undated. Undated. Can you look at page 6 of that agreement?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on page 6.
Did the GT Bank pay an initial one-off implementation fee of 25 million naira to Remita? Yes or no?
I'm not aware personally, but I can find out if we made this payment and revert to the house.
No problem, you'll be aware.
Yes.
Did the GT Bank pay an initial maintenance and support fee of 5 million naira to Remita?
I expect so, but I'll have to reconfirm from the technical people that this was done. So I was, since I'm speaking under oath, on oath.
Did you meet all the requirements of Remita before they allowed you to operate?
I believe that we did. I can, however, I would have, since it's subject to all these criteria being met, I can go in at a granular level to confirm that, so that I'll be speaking to, I'll be able to defend everything that we say on this.
Okay, now go to page 8 of that agreement.
I'm there, Mr. Chairman.
Section 7.13. The bank shall pay to system specs the total sum of 31,500,000 naira, inclusive of tax, as broken down as follows: 25 million for one-off implementation fee. 2 or 7.3.2. 5 million as initial maintenance and support fee. Are you seeing what I'm reading?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
7.13.3. Value added tax of 1,500,000. Did you see that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I did.
And did the GT Bank pay this to Remita before they allowed you to operate?
Yeah, I believe that if these payments were not made, we would not have been allowed to operate, but I would have to confirm so that I'll be able to give accurate facts to the committee, if you will indulge me.
That's okay.
If you will indulge me.
That's a very important. So the secretariat should note that GTB will be offering a definite answer. The answer should be a yes or no, but I agree that you can say you don't know, so that we can give you a little more time to find out. But it's a very, very, very important, very, very important. So please,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will do that.
Take note of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. GTB. While your staff there presses his calculator to answer my colleague's question, yes, I would like to ask that you are aware the TSA account transfer deadline was 15th of September 2015. For all the MDAs to transfer, for you to transfer the MDAs to the TSA account. That was a memo given to all the commercial banks by CBN.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I want to know, if after that deadline, did you have any MDA running in your bank? And if you did, maintain accounts. And if you did you have a waiver to still maintain those accounts? And if you did not, did you pay the penalty to CBN after that deadline? That's one question. And the amounts, yes. And I would like to still echo what my colleague said just now about this agreement. If you are renting a house and you just put your signature in the agreement, the tenancy agreement, and no date, I can argue that I rented the house yesterday, even if I rented it a year ago. So this, your agreement that you tendered is submitted to us now, it doesn't have a timeline. Because I can argue with you that you signed this document yesterday. Because there's no date, even the signatories did not sign. The beginning of the agreement, there's no timeline. In the first, second page, you can see that page is blank. The last page of the signatories are blank of dates and time. So this have to be looked into, Chairman. It's a very serious issue because we are entrusting you with over ₦1 trillion of Nigeria's generated revenue. So I would like you to answer that question about the MDAs, the maintained accounts and CBN deadline. If you still have any, if you pay the penalties, if you had the waiver, if you have any maintained accounts after that deadline.
Okay. Now, regarding the dates, I would require clarification. However, to give an accurate response. For MDAs, I'm aware that as a bank we did, we had to wind those accounts down, and I know that we did comply. However, matching the dates of the deadline of the memo and the dates that each of those accounts were closed is something that will require further details for me to get. I am, however, aware, because I worked in operations at the time, that we wound those accounts down, and I believe that we did that early, and so we had some challenges with those funds moving out, and the fact that the balance sheets were affected, but our bank, we respond to those kind of deadlines with strict compliance, and if you relate with the CBN, there are audits that they held after that, and as far as I know, there was no exception that led to a fine. However, it would be better for me to be able to revert if the response that I give should be different from what we just gave now. But I'm aware we wound them down. I'm, however, unable to match the date of the deadline against the closing date of those accounts. Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. ED, I don't want to, I don't want to say anything here, but I also expect you to maybe tell him better. We know we've gone through this with you before. I don't want to drag on the TSA thing because I'm sure you brief him better. But I'm concerned about something. We've realized that every document submitted here concerning this Remita thing is never dated. Since yesterday, we've been going through documents submitted concerning Remita. And unfortunately, it's not dated. Why are these documents not dated? It's becoming an issue. Since yesterday that we've been dealing with Remita, every time we look at their documents, in whatever way, it's never dated. And, I wanted to ask a question yesterday. When we asked Remita to talk about a certain time, they went back forward to 2015 instead of starting from when was it that the Remita thing actually started? It's in itself. So it brings us to a question. Mr. Edie, you are a banker. If I take loan from you, there will be a date. It's compulsory. We go through these nitty-gritties to get these things out of the way. But when it comes to this bank thing within yourselves, these things are always found missing. Why is it so? Is that something you people are trying to hide by not attaching dates to these documents? I just want to, this date thing is becoming a problem. It's becoming an issue actually, and Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to look at this date thing properly because it's becoming an issue. Every point in time is an issue, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Chinedu, want to further buttress?
Chairman, to buttress the concerns my two colleagues have raised, I think I want to totally agree with them. For this document to be enforceable, I'm sure you know that it's supposed to be registered, either with the Commission of Oaths, for it to be enforceable. So I want to align myself with their concern. I think, Chairman, this is not the original document. I'm sure there's an alteration in this agreement. So, yes. So, because for each, if you have, even when you're renting a house or whatever, if you're doing anything, for the agreement to be enforceable, you need to be registered with the Commission of Oaths, and that is not done. So it's a big concern for us. So, Chairman, if you permit me, we need to give us the actual document, the actual agreement that they signed within all these banks, all of them now, going forward, so that we know what we're doing. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to respond? Just take the last two. Okay, the last two questions, then you respond.
Yes, thank you. Well, the importance of this exercise is that the committee is responding by way of taking an action to the overwhelming agitation by Nigerians that there are leakages in the generation of revenues, and there are issues of non-remittances of these revenues. It was following this outcry that the House referred this issue to the Public Account Committee. Now, a lot of things have been pointed out on your relationship with Remita vis-a-vis the services you people are rendering. It is important to Nigerians, that is why we are doing this. Now let me ask, in your own opinion and your own observation, following the services you've rendered so far, do you see the remittal process so far being carried out by you and other banks as sufficient platform for the remittal of revenues devoid of leakages for the people of Nigeria? Secondly, do you believe that there are improvements that should be made or recommendations that should be brought to bear to enhance efficiency in this remittal process or revenue generation and remittal to the appropriate authority? Finally, this agreement is replete with a lot of suspicion, and I will lend my voice to this call for an original copy of this document to be made available. Now, looking at the execution clause, you will agree with me that you have the common seal of the within name System Specs Limited was affixed in the presence of. Look at the column for Director Secretary. What you see there is Park Solicitors, which is not the name of any human being. You see, in an execution clause of a company, it's either the two directors sign, a director and secretary will sign. In this case, we have the signature of one director, but the other one is saying Park Solicitors. Solicitors could be a name of a firm, and a firm cannot sign on behalf of company secretaries. So that is just what I wanted to point out. What we are doing is not witch hunting anybody, but we are doing it in the best interest of Nigerians who are watching us. And as their mouthpiece, their representative, we owe them this obligation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just take this one.
Take this other question, then you respond.
The issue at hand is agreement between a father, a son, and a customer. System Specs is the father. Gave birth to Remita. Then asked the son to enter into an agreement between GT Bank and himself. In other words, if there is an error or a mistake, the father must make sure, the son must make sure you, GTB, complies. Remita is the son of System Spec. System Spec is a holding company, which means that Remita is a subsidiary of System Spec. Now, Remita now enters into agreement between you and his father to perform a function, of which how much money of these charges did System Spec contribute before you got into an agreement with the son? That's, please, I want you to answer, because if you paid all these fees between you, System Specs, and Remita, and the person you signed agreement with was Remita, how much of these charges that?
For System Spec, there is an agreement with System Spec.
Yes, this agreement is. It's Remita. It's Remita. Between System Specs and Guarantee. But System specs now directed Remita to be doing this job for them. That's because system specs is no longer in the system. Remita is the one that is holding this. You are on their platform, isn't it? So how much money was system spec contributing to this as the initial annual fee payments? That's what I want to know.
Have you noticed, Mr. Chairman, that it's only when we come to this hearing that we know about the system specs? Everything has been Remita until we got into this hearing that this system spec now came up. So what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with system spec or we are dealing with Remita? Is the agreement with system spec or agreement with Remita? Who exactly are we dealing with?
Well, actually, Honorable colleague, all our own correspondence has been with system spec, not with Remita. Remita, to our understanding before yesterday, was a product developed by system spec. But yesterday, that information changed because somebody came here and introduced himself as the managing director of Remita as a company incorporated in 2017 or thereabouts. So, and the agreement between the first agreement between the CBN, with the CBN was with system spec. So I don't know whether the GTB is aware of this development we're talking about, because I can see that you were a little bit confused when he was making reference to that. You want to speak to that?
Yes, sir, because there is information about the status of Remita as a subsidiary that our technical people will probably know and that you have spoken about. But System Spec is the company that holds it. For instance, they have the opportunity to also produce products that address other services, but they produced Remita to address this need. So if they spun it off as a subsidiary, they will still, Remita will still belong to System Spec. And so the contract that we had was with System Spec, and they will still subsist as far as I know.
You want to answer for, you want to be, you shouldn't be answering for them.
Yes, so
don't put yourself up.
Yes, sir, but I don't know the status of Remita now. I was just explaining why we have.
But your own bank's agreement was with System Spec.
System Spec, yes.
Was there a fresh agreement entered into with Remita as a company?
I would have to confirm that if there was a fresh agreement.
You will have to confirm whether there was another agreement that when the software now transmitted into being a company, you wouldn't know whether they initiated the process of signing a fresh agreement with the GTB.
Yes, and I don't know if it will be required if Remita still belongs to System Spec.
It will be. Are you a lawyer?
No.
But somebody's a lawyer on this team.
No.
Is there a lawyer in your team? No. Huh? You are not? Okay. Okay. Because there's something in law that we call privity of contract. And contract entered into with an entity cannot bind another entity. It doesn't work like that. So in the eye of the law, Remita now, if that information given by them yesterday was correct, is a person, just as System Spec was a person. So if you had an agreement with System Spec, and that's the agreement you still believe that you are working with, I'm afraid. I'm really afraid.
Honestly, Mr. Chairman, we're not privy to the submissions made by System Specs yesterday. All I would say is that the agreement here was signed with System Specs as at the time. And in trying to answer the other questions, we'll try and see if there is, if we can cite the original copy, and then perhaps we'll see whether there is a dated copy somewhere that should address some of the concerns that have been raised here.
Okay. There is also a concern. I don't know if you have resolved that.
Okay, with respect to the fees, the information we have as of 4 years ago, the commission is not based on taking account a particular transaction and multiplying it by that 49, but it's 0.1% of the amount of the value of a transaction to the cap of 1,000 naira. That means that if 0.1% of a single transaction amounts to 900 naira, we will charge 900 naira on that transaction, or 100 naira. But if 0.1% of that transaction of another transaction, which is a single transaction, comes to 2,000 naira, we will still charge 1,000 naira as the maximum commission. So that means that taking it from the number of counts, you will not be able to arrive at the value of the transaction if you are multiplying the counts by a particular ratio. Yes, I would have to get the documentation for this. I have to get, because this as of 4 years ago.
Even based on what you said, if you even go through it, there's still some percentage variation there.
But I'm even coming, honorable member. I want to get what GTB is saying very clear. GTB, apart from the 150 naira that every payer pays as charges, you still have a commission that you take on each transaction. Is that correct?
No, this is a sharing ratio.
Use your microphone now. Or which commission or charge are you talking about here?
I believe that this is the ratio of the commission taken, that commission when it's taken from the customer, that we take as a bank.
Explain it. That you take as a bank from who?
From the fee that is earned on a particular transaction. Okay.
No, we don't understand. Just wait.
Sorry.
Wait.
Sorry, if I may come in, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If I may come in, the 0.1% is the commission on Remita payments made by customers that is taken off the amount paid at any particular point in time. However, it is subjected to a maximum cap of 1,000 naira per transaction, like my colleague explained. Now, if you have a transaction for which 0.1% will exceed 1,000 naira, we will still limit the charge to 1,000 naira.
Okay. Now, just wait. And this charge is per customer?
It's per transaction.
Per transaction?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so, but each person, each count, also pays 150 naira mandatorily as a charge.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware of the 150.
You are not aware of the 150 naira
charge taken.
You are not aware?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware of the 150 naira charge.
Who is aware on this team, please? Who knows anything about this 150 naira charge that each person transacting business with government or Remita platform pays per transaction?
Mr. Chairman.